Black Barn Social Club. God bless America. It's one of those days. This is, I started recording this 7, 8, 10 minutes ago, and you know, I've got these big glass doors right here, and as I'm talking, something keeps catching my eye, and I look over, and one of my dogs is out here playing in the creek and running up and down the driveway. There is a kennel, I've got a big yard for them and a big kennel, and I've got this blue heeler that likes to just chew holes through a chain link fence. So had to go run her down and get that settled. So let me catch my breath for a moment. This is a talking style episode. You know, I can't go very far without saying something about boots. So I was on this really cool thought train that was going to lead me to talk about this jacket. And so I'm going to try to recap. We've talked about Grail items before, Grail boots. And I've talked about the significance of a Grail item being that one thing that end all be all everybody's after. And more importantly, somebody did this better than I did. Somebody explained it better than I did. They said what they call Grail is when you find an item that makes you stop looking. And I love that statement because it's the most true statement about that ism that I have found that there is. When I was talking to somebody the other night about pocket knives, I've got one of those little like organizers in the house, and I've probably got 50 pocket knives, 40 or 50 pocket knives, varying cost, you know, everything from a Swiss Army to a case knife that used to be my dad's to something else, to something else, to something else, all the way up to what I daily carry now. And his statement reflects how I feel about pocket knives. It reflects how I feel about guns and about clothes and boots and cars and everything else. When you find the thing that makes you stop looking. So I used to buy a different pocket knife every few weeks until I got this Benchmade Osborne 940, and then I just stopped. I just started carrying it, and I didn't shop anymore. Well, same thing for boots, and that's the whole point I was going to make about the boots is I'm kind of that way with boots right now. I'm kind of satisfied when I get the emails and the new drop alerts. I'm kind of satisfied. There's nothing out there at the moment. Maybe a couple variants of something out there that I might do, but there's fewer and fewer things out there going, yeah, no, I got to have that. So, you know, I mean, I guess what I'm getting at is we may have a period in time where I'm shifting a few of my conversations to other items while I'm actually wearing a lot of the boots that I've got. And those trimming boots, the Parkhurst boots, some of the Red Wing boots, I've sold off some of the ones that I knew I would not wear in the rotation just because there was something else that I would wear in lieu of. But now I'm kind of down to my happy collection. I could still get rid of a lot more, but until there may be one or two more items that I would jump on, but until those happen, I'm gonna wear some stuff and see where I go from here. So now let's talk style. This is one of the styles that I've been hitting on this season, this last year, and I'm just a fan of it. It's gonna be like everything else. You're either gonna like it or you're not. You're either gonna hate it, or you're gonna like. I mean, you're just gonna hate it or love it. It's one of those deals where, and I think people are polarized about. They're that way about a lot of things. Look at any of the comment sections of any of these channels, and the minute somebody says, this is badass, you got 7 people in there going, no, model number this is better than that, and you know, the flux capacitor, and people just want to be antagonist so that they can feel alive again, I guess. I'm not here for it. I'm just showing you what I think is cool, and if you're interested in it, that's awesome. This military style stuff that I've been getting, I've been honing in on the colors. I've got some, I'm not talking about role play, and I'm not talking about what do they call it, cosplay. I'm not talking about going into a park and playing sword fighting with my buddies. I'm just talking about, there was a style from that era, that 50s, 40s, 50s. The style of military clothing back then was just iconic. It was attractive. It was form-fitting. The colors worked. And a lot had to do with just, looking up to the people from that generation. Just looking at those people and going, those were real men. Those men, were role models. They knew how to get the job done. So like anything, like the Fonz or like James Dean or like Elvis Presley, you see things like that, you are attracted to it, and you emulate it somehow, some way. You go, that's cool. And so you grow up thinking that's cool, and now I'm old enough and I'm looking back at the way that the way some of that, some of that style from that time, and I just love it. So this militaria style, to me, it's a love category. Now again, full disclosure, I was not in the military, so this is not stolen valor or anything like that. But there are you can see behind me, I've got 2 versions of liner jackets. Liner jackets are the things that you would wear, that pilots and military would wear inside bigger coats, and they become a style in and of themselves. So they're usually a little thinner, usually a little bit more light wear. Again, they were designed to be part of a system, but they've adapted to become their own thing. So this one here behind me on my right, your left, I guess, is a Pike Brothers. That's out of Germany. Wicked cool, wicked nice. It's dark green, kind of olive green. It's got a little bit of a I couldn't tell you what's inside it, but it's warm. It's warm. It's a light jacket, but it's warm. This one over my left shoulder, no, my right, I don't know. The one I'm pointing at. That one's a Buck Mason, and y'all have heard me talk about Buck Mason before. I love their take on a lot of things. So that's a Buck Mason liner jacket. It's a little bit lighter duty than the Pike Brothers, but it's and I really like it, like the color, like everything about that. What's in front of me now is one step beyond just an attractive liner casual jacket. What's in front of me now is a Bronson Manufacturing MA-1 MA-1 flight jacket. It is there's companies out there like Buzz Rickson and Bronson that specialize. It's not your typical. It's not when you think of a dupe or a knockoff or something like that. When you think of that, I tend to think of a cheaply made garment that is, like a fake Gucci this or a fake that. I don't put these in that category. These are replica type clothing. So if you can't afford to get on eBay and spend $1,500 on a vintage flight jacket in good condition, you can go buy a Buzz Rickson, you can go buy a Bronson. And I know, Buzz Rickson is technically a high price category. Bronson you will see in a low tier, which is why I wanted to devote a style episode to this Bronson, because The thing of it is when you look, you know how you do. You look you look at photos online, and then you start, you broaden that search a little bit. But in the back of your mind, you're going, am I going to buy this and it's going to be a piece of crap? Am I going to buy this and it's falling apart? Am I going to buy this and it's not quality? Should I just go ahead and bite the bullet and pay more money for the name brand, this, that, or the other? So I wanted you guys to experience what I've experienced with this Bronson MA-1 flight jacket. Let me tell you a little bit first about flight jackets. This is a military spec piece of clothing. Military spec being, I think it was in 1955, the military came out with their specs, and I'm going to sneak my notes out so that I look intelligent. In 1955, they came out with the specs of what this needed to be. And it had to be flame retardant. It had to be oil resistance. It had to be warm, obviously. It had to be waterproof, certain colors, certain details, certain zippers, certain thickness of materials and all that stuff. So just like pistols, just like everything else that the military does, there's a mil spec for this thing. Bronson, Buzz Rickson, they have gone out, they have studied the material, they have broken them down, they have reverse engineered them, and in a lot of ways, they have just created, the ability for somebody like you and I to go out and get an actual, I use the term loosely, flight jacket. This thing is dead up, pulled from the 50s, flight jacket. And now when I talk about, again, no stolen valor, I was not in the military, but this is designed to be a replica. It is designed and built as good or better than the factories, or than they came back then, than the original producers. Talon zippers. Everything I see on this jacket is insane. The first thing I would say is the weight of this jacket. This is a cold winter coat. This is not, these ones behind me, that's for lighter winter, light cold days. This is legit. The lining of the coat, 60% wool, like 40% polyester. It is thick, and by thick I mean it's heavy. To hear that it's made of nylon, you would immediately think, all that stuff, like a tracksuit from the 80s. This stuff is so thick. It's insane. Of course, then I had to read online that it's flame retardant, oil resistant, waterproof. You can tell it's a well-made beast. But just the feel of it feels like an industrious material. I don't know what all the little doodads and doohickeys are, but it's got the arm pockets and the zippers and the pin pouches and all that stuff. Little side zipper. I don't know what that's for, like maybe an ID, maybe papers, maybe gum. Whatever they wanted, it was right here on their shoulder, so they could get to it. Pockets. There's all these little hooks and snaps and pulls. Again, mil-spec stuff all over it, and I'm sure that had to do with routing of cables or breathing apparatus or whatever it is. Just little details on it like this thing. Again, I don't know what that is, but I'm sure it had something to do with the cockpit or something. They had something to do. It's not a pull tab. It's just a part of the garment. Heavy, deep pockets on both sides. Heavy inside, big pockets on both inner portions of the vest area. And just a wicked cool throw. Everything down to the label itself and the serial number on the jacket has been recreated to be mil spec and from this. One of the coolest things about these jackets, the bomber jackets, that the original style bomber jackets were always high-waisted coats. high-waisted on a big guy like me, it's walking a fine line, because if you're too big, high-waisted doesn't look good. I'm going to say that I am just now getting to the size that I'm gonna wear this. So it is high-waisted, but that's what they were from that era. Here lately, or here in modern days, they've started making these coats longer and longer, but that's a modern stylistic adaptation that was not designed for the cockpit. Again, back then, they would have thought in terms of keeping the jackets and things like that from covering their guns or their sidearms or anything like that. One of the other cool things I love about this coat, and the real, or the true to purpose of it, I don't know if this shows on camera, but the arms are actually sewed to be form-fitting to the controls of the cockpit. So if you can see that, there's a natural curve to the actual arms, and they are so thick that they hold that pose. And I guess, I'm trying to think in the mind of a designer. They didn't want the guys to be, the pilots, they didn't want them to be fighting the resistance of their own clothes. So they're actually form-fitted to that function and that style, or that use case. So what a cool, again, you can get these jackets. I think, they're sold out probably right now. Maybe there's a few sizes. I got this on eBay, Poshmark, one of those type places. New, they're like $160. And to me, to think that you could buy a jacket this well made, this sturdy, Celadon color, I think I'm saying that right, which was the original color from that time. It was like a DuPont nylon. I mean, they literally did research to make this thing as good as they made it. And I'm tickled. So to say that you could go buy this thing, I think I'll tell you my business. I think I spent $120, $115 on a reproduction flight jacket that looks like it's cool. It's cool. So tell me in the comments, do you like stuff like this? Do you think it's hokey? Does it look like next week I'll be playing Dungeons and Dragons with my friends in the park? What do you think about guys that wear military style or military inspired outfits? I don't have a club. I don't know how often I'll get wear in this, to be honest. Because like I said, most of the time, one of these two is enough for the winters that we have. But if nothing else, I thought this thing was cool enough to own. It was cool enough to get for the price that I got it for. You can probably find them out there cheaper. But man, I thought it was pretty slick. So if I don't do anything but hang it in the closet and talk about it, look at how cool that is. So you guys tell me. That's talking style today. I just wanted to kind of show y'all a little bit of some of the other stuff that I got. Now I do have. And again, I'm not the only one, because there's a big push in this military market. But I've got that Ironheart N1 deck jacket. That's another one that's a heavy coat, and it's probably more wearable than something like this, because some people just won't wear this because of the patch or the insignia on it. So that might turn some people off. Me, it turns on. But there's the N1 deck jacket from Ironheart that I've got. There's the waxed Nautilus jacket from Iron and Resin, which that really, it has that N1 deck jacket look. It's like a lot of these manufacturers that are nailing, I'm going to call it 85 to 90% of the style cues off of a deck jacket. They're putting it on a waxed canvas jacket and letting people buy that, and it has the look. It's just not built to that spec. So this is just one of 3 or 4 jackets that I've got that give that vibe, and I'm tickled with it. Now I've got the Skyliners, the Eddie Bauers. I mean, I've got several jackets that play in this space. I don't know. I mean, when I start boots, I worry about overlap. Clothes, not so much, because clothes you can change up a lot more often, and there's just not a ton of demand for trying to well, I'm going to resell this. You can do that with boots. You may or may not be able to do that with these, but either way, I'm tickled with this. Wanted to share it with you guys. Y'all be blessed. That's my 20 minutes. I'm out.